We human beings are truly family. Now, I'm not saying that to be cliche. We human beings are truly family. Well, at least to the core of what all of our DNA is. Uh, Now, there are slight differences with the DNA that give us the many diverse looks that we human beings have here in the world today. So, the slight differences give us the different looks in our appearance. But to the core of what our DNA is, we're all the same. And it goes all the way back to a group of people 60,000 years ago. Now, human beings actually existed before that. Science shows that there were beings before that, but the human being that we know today, the Homo sapien that we know today, goes back 60,000 years. And it goes back to a part of the world that we now know or now call Africa. Amazing. I was watching a documentary on National Geographic recently, and they were talking about how the core of our DNA is the same and that it traces back to these people 60,000 years ago. So it got me to thinking, it got me to doing some of my own research, and it's just amazing. Now, what happened was that these group of people started to migrate. Some of them, like some left and they migrated to other parts of the world. Now, at that time, because of climate changes here on the planet over the history of time, there have been times where the ocean wasn't the ocean that we know today. There were parts where you could actually just walk across. Like it wasn't the deep waters that we know because of the difference in climate changes. So these people were literally able to just get in groups and start walking, exploring the planet. And some went straight ahead and a group broke off and went to the right, and some broke off and went to the left. And so basically, some groups went towards Asia, some groups went towards Europe, and then there was another group that science is tracing that actually left and walked towards the Americas. So what happened is, over time, because of climate and environment, the people's appearances changed. So that's why you have like Asian people that look a certain way, and European people, and people in South America that have a certain look. And then, of course, with mixing, the looks have really gotten blended. But that's why. So yes, technically, I guess we all originate from this region that we now know as Africa. But the reason why all of us don't have African features is because depending on where these groups, these little groups, migrated to and broke off and went to, over over the generations, the physical appearances changed. Now, around that same time, there was another group of being called the Neanderthals. I'd like to think of them as our like distant cousins. They were different than us. Uh, even with the built was different because the average Neanderthal man was about 5'5" and 170 pounds, and the average Neanderthal woman was about 5'1" and 150 pounds. And so they were shorter and broader, and there were other differences too that didn't make them Homo sapiens. But about 40,000 years ago, they did go extinct. And science is showing that they think probably because of another climate change that happened here on the planet, there were animals that they were used to using as food source because they tended to go for bigger gamey animals. And these animals died and they went extinct. And so the Neanderthal, for whatever reason, couldn't, I guess, wrap their minds, and maybe their bodies weren't able to adjust to other ways of getting nutrients and food, and so they went extinct. I'm sure there were other reasons that played into that, but the bottom line is we Homo sapiens prevailed. Now I'm thinking, my goodness, what would I have done if I was in one of those groups migrating 60,000 years ago? Oh my God, I would have been like, where's the air conditioning? Because, honey, I love my air conditioning. Woo! I can't let them see me sweat. And, I mean, it just, I think about that. It must have been brutal. I mean, seriously, there was no penicillin. I know probably, I can't even imagine the lifespan back then, but probably people didn't live very long, maybe into their 20s or 30s. And I guess if there were people that lived beyond that, it was a rare situation, but it must have been brutal. And I can see me now in one of these groups migrating somewhere from Africa, and I'm looking around talking about where's McDonald's? And does anyone see a Walgreens? Because I need some more makeup. I'm playing. But I just can't even imagine the conditions back then. And we truly have come a long way. But from seeing this documentary on National Geographic and from doing my little bit of research, it just affirms for me that we all are just walking miracles, we human beings. How we truly have evolved from living in bushes and caves with nothing, no clothes and medicine and, I mean, all the things that we as a society are used to today. And we've actually evolved to the computer age. I learned that industrialization didn't really start until about the 1800s, and that wasn't very long ago. So, within the last couple hundred years or so, we've really gone leaps and bounds as human beings. But anyway, it affirms for me that we're walking miracles, and as I said in the beginning, it affirms for me that we human beings are truly family.